အခုဆက်ပြီးနော်ဝေးနိုင်ငံကိုရောက်ရှိနေတဲ့မြန်မာအစိုးရငြိမ်းချမ်းရေးဖော်ဆောင်ရေးအဖွဲ့ခေါင်းဆောင်ရထားဝင်ကြီးဦးအောင်မင်းနဲ့ဒီမိုကရက်တစ်မြန်မာအသံညွှန်ကြားရေးမှူးချုပ်ဦးအေးချမ်းတိုင်တို့တွေ့ဆုံမေးမြန်းခန်းကိုထုတ်လွှင့်ပေးပါတော့မယ်။နော်ဝေးနိုင်ငံသားရေးဝန်ကြီးယိုနာဂါစတာရာနဲ့တွေ့ဆုံပြီးတဲ့နောက်အစည်းအဝေးခန်းမတွေကပြန်ထွက်လာတဲ့ဦးအောင်မင်းကိုဦးအေးချမ်းတိုင်ကတွေ့ဆုံမေးမြန်းထားတာဖြစ်ပါတယ်ရှင်။
So there must be a historic meeting with the minister from Myanmar and the Norwegian foreign minister. What is your main discussion for the today meeting?
Well, I think, yes, it is an historic event that we receive a ministerial delegation from Myanmar. It's a follow-up of my visit to the country some weeks ago. And we have discussed, I think, a very broad range of issues. But focusing on the minister's special attention, which is the ceasefire agreements with ethnic groups and the follow-up of peace processes to make lasting peace inside Myanmar. And how can the international community, Norway included, support that process? That has been the broad theme. I announced to the minister when he arrived that Norway will be suspending the sanctions beyond the arms embargo. We will be suspending the sanction, which means that we move towards normalization to reward the forces of reform, but also to send a message to the forces who oppose reform that if things go in the wrong directions, things can also change. But now we need to capture this dynamism of change. And I think that a country like Norway, on the very other end of the European Asian continent, we can support in areas where we may have an experience. And the minister has been, I think, a very interesting interlocutor for us to explain these different processes and with a very open mind on how we can cooperate. And I think we have also been able to explain to the minister that Norway has a certain number of experiences that we can share, and that we would like to see these experiences widely shared among the people according to democratic principles. So we have appreciated this stay as an historic stay and hopefully a stepping stone in our bilateral cooperation.
You talk about the monitoring and making sure the ceasefire kind of go progress. Do you discuss in detail like how things, how the discussion about the ceasefire can be maintained and move forward?
Yes, I think, the approach has been that a ceasefire is a very important event. It's not a stop, it's the beginning of a process. And the next process will be about development, about the benefits of peace, about a number of very complex issues relating to refugees, IDPs, how we can improve living conditions, how we can deal with the most urgent challenges. And our point has been that we need to move fast, and there need to be quick benefits for people to see that peace makes a difference. And I think we have discussed that in some detail.
Okay. Apart from the ceasefire situation, have you discussed any other things like the broader sense about like human rights, democracy, political freedom?
Yes.
For example, like in particular, there are still like political prisoners still being detained in prison. Have you discussed all of those issues as well?
This has been a follow-up from my discussions 2 months ago in Myanmar, and I think these issues are constantly on our agenda. Because when we want to send a positive message to the reformers, it's because we want to see more of that reform. We want to see progress on development of political prisoners, on democratic reform, of universal human rights, on economic integration. So all of these issues. But I think we also have to appreciate that everything cannot change at once. So it's the process that we need to support and make irreversible. And Norway can only play a little part in that. But we can also bring others along. And I think now there is a momentum for supporting this change, and as I discussed with Aung San Suu Kyi a few days ago, it's now important to support that process and make it irreversible, and that's our purpose.
And is there any discussion about like Norwegian aid for Burma? like humanitarian aid, development aid?
Yes, we already have humanitarian aid from Norway, following up on the humanitarian disasters that we've had in Myanmar. And we will be ready to support specific projects, specific mechanisms, which can, be seed money to move forward. But that will require a bit more discussion, but we have made a signal of an open mind to that.
Okay, I would now
Please.
Minister. So when you do to meet a camera, you need to see with one. You need to see with my body, dig up, pure jar level. So the one of these ceasefire case and a biro, who pure jar pure. So when you need to good need to see with my body, pure jar, body, suri jar, be diga chatty, pure jar, rally, cello, shim javiva.
General join your peace process. Kisava Chipa. General Nangamale, the peace process, but the bureau down tower. Tariale Alua, Nanganotama Yani, Nanganotama Sound, Sua Puani, General Down and beat up Chipa. Two general peace process, but General Timapio Java. General Ku down when you be lonely by Ma, who Diana Poli to Romania, General Picca Yasevi Pipa. Through Piana Pia Kama to do General Luadao, who saw the Sopiame, demanding Lopiame, La Daria Alon ITP refugee stay, Dari Alon, the Lopiama Pete, the Chinili Alon George Malabio, Chinlin de Biara Pipa.
Would you go Lara Chamaboli, who that no way generally Manang and so area, no Giga comes down to Dapta Zone J, who Yaushi upon generally Mammy, the Nepomia Zotema. So the Tamada Asia or the Norway so Draco, who pay my message to Sakaru or Shiva like
General Soa Della Vino Baima, who together no winning and General Mine up yet Miaiko with all of it, who General Soa Chema, Ninika Sassan and Nanga Kunina Poloyama. To Shialeda, the Nanga together democracy, Sisset Nangan Pipa. Jamu, the Nanga will let General Toilet Kama, Dali General. To use a lady, means a lady, Talimia Shiva. The Mariko let General Lululalane do like that paper. The Yoda Kama let General Dima Lupi assistant, ya expert let me to Vare. Janania let me Yopa. General Mata Mekisari, General Loa Mekisaya, the Talimia General, Tinganari Yama.
She's a biro, the Norway so anelima so a jamabono, who she's a biro be. Simangani, no Belanja Sapu Shiva like me.
Kuaro General Kizamaro, the Kutujara, no General Yaudeni Mave, section Chopi later. Ku now the Kuaro, no way than you, John Yamananga Malapum up your bar. Tayung Lapumi Suriaro, General Nini Sasa, Sassan and the Kupiatore Lule Pioluava. Daria Tutem Chini.
Okay, so the ceasefire case and a patalopoli, Dalai made it and big on the Cuba. General the Badi Kiano, the Monobama, ceasefire Pinevime, the Kichemba Maro, Mapiti case Apoli. So Apoma Winji by Piojan Malakma.
Oh, Kichembele, General Nangan the Mariani Usambio, leave home use on a job, Samyaniva. Apule the Mariani who did the poe or Pion low Amesule. Siman jet body. 2 years 600 Dilu Shiba. Dali will look for Siman near Shiba. General Tenaro Alon, a simple dome, a Janet Yaman and Yipilame Lutunoa, Jusawa.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.